Welcome everyone! I've picked out a new tale of isekai whimsy that is of characters pulled into an MMO and have access to menus. It is going to be one of those days for me, and we are going to take a look at the 2013 anime Log Horizon by Satelight. If these 3 episodes can change my mind on this well overused isekai trope, or does it want me to log out permanently? Before we begin though, the SAT in Satelight is an acronym for Sapporo, Animation, Technology, and Entertainment. I really don't have a reason to bring this up other than to buy some time before I have to begin the review. I typically am not a fan of this style of isekai. With that said, let's load up this new world.
Jackin! Mega Man!
Log Horizon started as a light novel in 2010 and ran for 14 volumes. It also then was adapted into its first of 4 manga series in 2012, before coming to television with the one we are looking at today. It was a part of that big 2010s isekai boom that we are still in the wake of right now, though it isn't one that I had heard too much about previously and seemed to get lost in the mix. I only selected this by suggestion of my brother that had watched it when it originally came out. Wanting to try something completely foreign to me, I decided to go with this. And right off the bat, it was pretty much what I expected of this style of isekai. Overusage of video game mechanics, generic characters, and power fantasy elements peeking out. Though it then shifted on me a bit, and by the time I ended the 3rd episode, I did make some changes to my assumption. Some, not all. So what is this story anyway? We open up in the world of the massively popular MMO-RPG Elder Tale at the time of its 11th expansion, with all the Japanese players awakening in the game. That is right, we have our first massive isekai event. Typically, I've only covered single people, even 4 people at once with Rising of the Shield Hero, but this is tens of thousands of people ending up in the game. Due to this mass transition, people are trying to figure out what is going on as they are unable to log out of the game. We open up with Shiroe, an enchanting mage, and our main character of the story. And luckily he's a bit of a legend around these parts. Luckily, he finds his friend, Naotsugu, and another former member of their unofficial guild, the Debauchery Tea Party, which also is
legendary.
Here we learn they are a mix of their avatar and their real-world appearances. So for instance, Shiroe is slightly taller and thinner in this world. Other characters are experienced the same, including the assassin Akatsuki, who has been following them. They have sought out Shiroe to help change them to their real-world appearance. And it's loli. Yep. We got loli. Don't worry, it is just I can't believe it's not loli, as she is legal and a college student. All the creepiness of loli with the WTF-ness of why. Akatsuki has chosen a tall male form in-game, but is now better able to move around as she is now closer to her real self. The 3 form a group to navigate the new world, and mainly so Naotsugu can continue to be bad comic relief. You know the type of character. Hit on all the women in the general area, make bad jokes about their love life. There isn't much to him. In the real world, he's a salary man. That is all. As the trapped players spend more time in the world, they learn more about it. The food tastes awful, and perhaps more importantly, if you die, you are resurrected at the cathedral, which is good as bands of rogue players are forming bandit groups and targeting unaware players. This is when we first really see the power of our trio, as they are able to show off their skills in defeating one of these groups with ease. Soon the trio are drafted by the Crescent Moon Alliance Guild to go out and rescue one of their own that is in danger far away. Since the teleportation gates have been offline since they all entered the world, they will have to travel to save her, which is hundreds of real-world miles away. On their journey though, they come to realize the world isn't exactly the game that they knew before, as the new update seems to be in place, resulting in changed locations and new boss monsters. While they do manage to defeat this one, they are still on the journey at the end of episode 3. Overall, it isn't bad. There are issues I will talk about in a bit, but it managed to remain interesting in these episodes. The animation and story are fine, and while this isn't the sort of title I would normally watch, I can see why people would like it. Let's talk about one of my initial cons of this series, the menus. I mean, look at all of these. It would be easier to pilot a Gundam than figure out how to equip armor, though they do something very interesting with this, and actually make the menus a hindrance to the characters in battle. Instead, they have to discover a way to use the moves while fighting. It is a little thing, but I like this change to this overused trope. They still use them for communication, which I'm fine with as they aren't these overpowered tools they usually end up in other isekai. A bit of a spoiler that I learned about while researching for this episode, the awful food is due to using the menus to craft it. But when they personally make the food, it actually has taste. I haven't seen this level of putting limits on menus since I watched Kitchen Nightmares.
And more importantly, we've condensed the menu.
I thought this was well done. Now to something done wrong. 8 times. 8 times in the first episode. That would be Shiroe adjusting his glasses over and over again. 5 of them in the final 5 minutes of the episode alone. If you told me the animators were getting bonuses for putting this in, I would believe you. It isn't that he is doing it, well actually it is, but it is more what it is doing for us to understand the character. I'm talking about physical acting. Since this is animation, a voice actor doesn't have control over this, and it comes down to the animators. And when you do something so many times like this, there should be a point. At this stage, there isn't. The glasses adjustment is a bit of its own trope in anime. We see it when characters are being confident, when they're being arch, and we even see it when a character is uncomfortable. It should have meaning, and in the first episode it doesn't. It could have been used even to show that Shiroe isn't used to his new body in this world, but isn't. This overuse undercuts its meaning right away. So later, when he is doing it to emphasize a point, well, are we supposed to believe it is an actual moment? Though that being said, they felt it was important enough that the action was made the cover of the first volume Blu-ray. This is why physical acting is so important, as it is another tool for the viewer to understand the character. From big fight scenes to small quirks, this should work in lockstep with the voice acting. You only have so much room to tell us about them, so this should be better thought out. While this was an annoyance for me, overall though, Log Horizon wasn't unwatchable. It even came with some interesting things to say in what easily could have been a very standard run-of-the-mill isekai. It isn't really breaking any new ground, but puts it above others in the genre. Obviously, with its similarities, it does get compared quite a bit to Sword Art Online, but I feel it does a much better job to introduce us to our main trio than SAO did with Kirito in their first 3 episodes, even if some can be a bit grating at times. Another aspect of the mass isekai in Log Horizon that I found interesting compared to the standard ones I've covered in the past is that there isn't the same level disparity or power fantasy elements that is present so often in others. Since they all came into the game at the same time, and due to the new update, they're relatively all on the same playing level and knowledge of the world in these episodes. Yes, some are higher levels in game than others, but for the most part, the difference is skill and brains and not brute strength. I don't know if this will change as we continue, but for now it keeps the dynamic interesting in this world. Going into this, I thought I would have a bad time, and while it didn't move the needle for me and make me want to continue, I felt it functioned well. And if you are an isekai sicko and haven't already seen this, I say give it a shot. You could do a whole lot worse for sure. Though my pause for concern is again, I hadn't heard about this. Did it fall off? Why did it not get the attention that others did during the same isekai era? I guess I have to leave it on that point for today. If you happen to know, or have a theory on why it didn't have the same lasting power as others did, please feel free to throw that in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving it a like and subscribe. Till next time, be sure to look both ways before crossing the street.